Alright, today we're going to be doing some telephone repair on this particular General Electric 2.4 gigahertz cordless telephone. This is a telephone I have here on my desk. The reason I like it is because we have a speakerphone, a wired handset, and also a cordless telephone, which has a headset jack. So with this telephone I can use any method of using the telephone that I want to use, being cordless or corded, speakerphone, or headset jack. Problem with this telephone is that the wireless handset has developed this problem which I call double dialing, and I'm going to turn the telephone on here and I'm going to dial the numbers. I'm going to press every number once and just watch what happens. I don't know if we'll be able to see those numbers coming up there. There we go. Now we can kind of see them. Now I just pressed 2 once and you'll notice it registered twice. 3, 4, 5. Now that just registered 3 times. 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course it's not doing it a whole lot because we're taking the video there. It just doubled on 2. There it goes, just did it again. Point is, this can be very frustrating when you're trying to make a call. And we just got 2 8s. Oh, we got 5 8s that time. So as you can see, this is pretty much impossible to make an outgoing call on. So I'm going to do a couple of things to try to fix this. And I'm going to explain why we're doing those things once I open it up. I'm going to take this downstairs and I'm going to open up the handset and we'll go from there. Okay, here we are downstairs in the workshop, and yes, a second handset has appeared. Now, this is the handset that we're going to be fixing. This handset is actually the first one I had. The story behind these telephones is sometime in the, I would imagine, the early 2000s, I think my grandmother bought this telephone. This telephone has a very strange problem in that it would actually hiss. It would go tss, 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 while it was charging. Now, as you can imagine, that's extremely irritating, so this didn't get used for very long. The wired handset base component thing, if I remember correctly, she used that in the bedroom for quite some time, but this, for the majority of its life, spent downstairs in the basement hissing away as it was charging, and rarely ever got used. When my grandparents got new telephones, they gave me this unit, and that was one of the first cordless telephones that I had, so I wanted to use it. And I did a variety of things to try to make this work. The contraption is no longer in here, but I had actually made a new battery component out of regular rechargeable batteries so that I could take the batteries out, charge them up in my charger, and not have to worry about putting this actual handset on the cradle because it made the annoying hissing sound. Now the handset had other problems. It also didn't ring, and I think that was the only problem it had at the time. But either way, it had a very short lifetime because of its malfunctions. About a year ago, it finally decided to just stop connecting to the base completely, in which case I decided to toss it in the scrap bin and bought a new one. Now, people always wonder why I hold on to things that are broken. Well, this is exactly why. This handset, amongst all of its problems, does not double dial if I remember correctly. So now I can take the dialer out of this one and put it in this one, and theoretically have a perfectly functioning phone. What I'm going to do now is take the battery out of this one and put it in this one and test the dialing capacity, even though it probably won't connect to the base unit. Okay, so I got the battery in this handset now, and I made an interesting discovery. At least I think it was interesting. I thought these were exactly identical handsets, and apparently they're slightly different. The display panel in this handset is a little bit different in the fact that the there's two lines on these handsets. The bottom line is the same on both. It's a full LCD display. It can display numbers or letters. The second line up, the middle line, is just numerics on this one, like what you would see, say, in a digital clock. Whereas this one, both the bottom and the middle lines are numerics, are anything, letters or numerics. The top of the display has a set thing where it'll display number of calls, date, time, etc. Now, this one, I'm not sure if we'll be able to get this in focus or not. Let me try turning the light on. Come on, light. There we go. Focus. Okay. Now you'll notice that this one here dials properly. So what I'm going to do is take the dial pad. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to split open both of the handsets, and depending on how far apart I have to take them to replace the dial pad, I may take all the guts out of this one and stick it in this outer case, because you can't really see it in the video, but well, maybe you can. This has a number of scratches on the display. It's pretty worn out in general because this is the one I bought used. This one that we bought new really didn't ever get used much, so this is in pretty much like new condition. So again, depending on how far apart I have to take the phones to replace the dialer pad, I may actually swap the whole entire thing out. So let's get started disassembling these here. I've had these apart before, though it was a couple of years ago, so I don't remember exactly how it's done. I'm going to start by disassembling the old one. In case I do something wrong and screw it up, it doesn't really matter. As is typical, we have the screws here in the back, and I always work on a towel or soft surface, because when you have the handset down like this, you can really scratch up the display. Anyways, so I'm going to undo these two screws in the back, and then should be pretty typical after that, I think. Where's my screwdriver? I have to use a different one. Alright. No, I'll use a different one. The screwdriver I like to use for prying things open appears to have disappeared, so I have to use this one. The way I like to do this is I like to pull it apart the best I can here at the base, and then insert the screwdriver with some sort of a protection there so you don't actually damage the plastic, and then just gently pry it apart. The best bet is probably to go on one side halfway, and then go on the other side halfway, and then you should be able to split it up at the top. It's not quite coming as much as I want it to. Okay, and now we have it apart. So now I'm going to have to, looks like the main screws, there's only two. That's kind of strange. Okay, so now I'm going to take off these two screws up here at the top. Might as well zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to have to get out my screwdriver set here. Now I got to zoom out again. This is the screwdriver set I have. This came from iFixit. It's actually a website which primarily focuses on fixing Apple products. And the reason this is a nice set is because Apple uses the most bizarre bits out there. And so you can pretty much open anything with these bits. Though in this case, all we have is a typical 4-sided screw, so really could use any screwdriver, but this has the different sizes, so hopefully we can get one that is just, whoops, the right size. Yep, that's a good fit. Why is my flash still on? Okay. Okay, let's see if that freed anything up. I have to undo the antenna screw as well. Whoops. Wow, that was the first time a screw didn't disappear down here. There's like a black hole of screws down here. You drop something, you'll never find it. Okay, antenna's off. Now, you should be able to... I don't want to bend that too much. I'm not sure how this board actually comes off of here. It's not have a typical design to it. I'm going to have to pause the video and figure this out. Alright, well, I did this on this one because if it breaks, it doesn't matter. The antenna, you really just have to pull it out of there and it just bends. That's really stupid design. Now we have 2 more screws under here I gotta take out. And at this rate, it looks like I'm going to just swap the guts between the 2 handsets because I'm going to have to take this completely apart in order to replace the dialer pad, so I might as well just get a better handset cover at that point. Okay, there's something else holding it in as well. I'm going to go ahead and undo the speaker wires, or not the speaker wires, the speaker itself, because that could be holding it on. There it goes. Okay. Now it is completely apart. Alright, so now I'm going to show you something on here. Here we have the 2 main components of the dialer pad. We have the actual board itself, and then we have the numerical buttons. Now, these buttons is usually what fails. That was bad grammar. These buttons are usually what fails. The way this works here is all these little green parts, or whatever called, they're gold, I guess. They have conductive properties, or they don't have, they register conductivity. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but let's see if we can. You see those little wires in there will register when there's connectivity between them. And on the button pad, you see here those rubber pieces, those black rubber pieces right there, have conductive materials on them. So when the buttons contact the pad there, it registers a button press. Now, a number of things can happen when these go bad. the conductive material can wear out on these telephone pads, or any button pad really, and that'll usually happen when the button stops pressing. Or sometimes these will get dirty and they will stop registering when there's actually a button press. So between the two, something can definitely go wrong. As far as this one goes, this one looks like it's in good condition. It doesn't seem to be any dirt or anything in there. So, which I didn't expect there to be because this phone's working properly. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to strip down the other telephone here. Make sure you don't mix up the parts, although it doesn't really matter because they're the same thing. And hopefully this one comes apart just as easily. Take the belt clip off there. Undo this. And this one I've never split apart before, so it may be a little bit stiffer. No, actually doesn't seem to be too bad. Okay, that was pretty easy. Now, I see a number of improvements already in this revision of the handset. This one that's working is newer. You'll see here, this is where the speaker rests for the ringer. It's got a foam thing in there to keep it more secure. This doesn't have the foam, so the speaker just kind of rattles around in there. This one also, interestingly enough, only has 2 antennas. Well, that's very interesting. The antenna design is vastly different on this one. This is the old board, and this is the new one. Note on the new one that there's actually no antenna in this piece. This long wire is not present in here. It was just replaced with another short wire, which is very interesting. Why they wouldn't actually take out the antennas beyond me. Well, anyways, that's interesting. At least I think that's very interesting anyways. Okay, now I gotta disassemble this one. I tell you, that's very surprising there's nothing in there. I mean, if you're going to put that bulk on the product, I think they'd actually utilize it. It would be interesting if I could get that one working again to compare the range between the two, because I would imagine this new one probably doesn't get as good of a range as the other one does. appears to be kind of stuck in there. It's definitely being held in by the headset jack, which is going to be a problem. I'm going to pause the video so I don't waste any time here. Turns out the problem was that the speaker was glued in, the earpiece speaker. Alright, so let's take a look at the dialer pad here. Don't notice anything immediately wrong with it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug the battery in, and I'm going to test out the two different dialer pads and see what happens. Okay, this is the old dialer pad. See if I can get anything to register here. There he is, talk. Okay, so the talk is working. Let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. Wow, okay. Alright, let's try the old dialer pad. See if that makes a difference. Talk. 1, 2, 2, 3, come on. Oh, it's still double dialing. Actually, it's double dialing even worse with this one. This also isn't aligned quite properly. Alright, so now what we're going to have to do, because that didn't solve the problem, is I'm going to go ahead and clean the dialing pad here, and I'll show you how we do that in a minute. Okay, and we're back. What we're going to do is we're going to clean the dial pad using this isopropyl, whatever, however you say, alcohol stuff. Now don't go bonkers with this, because generally speaking, electronics and liquids don't mix, and this is really no exception. But I'm going to use this cotton swab thing and just put a little bit on there, and I'm going to clean the golden part of the keypad. Now this one wasn't really that dirty, so I don't anticipate that made a big difference. But let's give it a try. Plug the battery back in here. Well, I can already tell the buttons are way more responsive now. That's a good sign. Whoops. Is it working? Yeah. Four. Dang it. 5, 6, 7. Well, it seems like it's improved. Let's try it again. Hopefully no one's trying to call me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Star 0 pound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Seems to be working pretty well. Alright, I'm happy with that. Let's see if we can look at the quality here. Yeah, that seems to be working pretty good. Let's see if we can do a... oh, jeez. Oh, that was awful. Yeah, it's working pretty good. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, let's see here. I'm going to take the old cover, front cover, and I'm going to take the new rear cover, and I'm going to put the guts inside this. The reason I'm doing that is because the battery cover for the old one is modified, so a regular battery is not going to fit. So I'm going to use these two pieces. As you can see, this one's in pretty good condition. So I'm going to use this, and let's put it back together. Very happy with the results of this. Alright, I just went ahead and cleaned these one more time just for good measure. But it's working good. So let's put this back together now. Let's see, that's the new one. So we're going to use the old, what do you want to call this thing? Outer cover. I'm going to stick the buttons inside of here ahead of time just because you kind of have to. And now I'm going to begin to put the handset back in here. Align the speaker first, and then set the rest of the thing down in here. Kind of have to put it in on an angle so the headset jack will align properly. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get it back in here. Okay, that looks about right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the battery just to give it another test and make sure that it's working. Are we actually in frame here? Yeah, we are. Just to make sure the buttons are aligned properly, I'm going to turn this on here. Yeah, it's working. 2, 5, yeah, okay. Alright, that's good. Take the battery back out, and we're going to finish the assembly. Okay, so these two screws, where are these things? Whoops. These two screws are going to go in there. And now the video is going to be plagued with noise. Oh well, at least it's warm. Okay, that's in. Everything appears to be fitting properly. go ahead and tie down the speaker now. Keep forgetting these are magnetic screws. Usually they're not. Surprisingly enough, these are. Where is the antenna screw? Must be in there. Is this it? Yes. Here it is. Alright, now we can close this up. It's so strange. Okay. Now we can close this up again. Just press that down onto there. And these smaller screws will go there. I can't believe these have a decoy antenna. That's absolutely ridiculous. Alright, I'm going to plug it in again and make sure it's definitely working, and then I will put the back cover back on. Getting a fair bit of noise on here, but that could just be because interference. I gotta go check upstairs what's going on. I don't know, there shouldn't be as much interference on here. Okay, we didn't screw anything up. It was just an interference problem with the router. I had moved the router yesterday, and now it's near the telephone. And that's the problem with these 2.4 gigahertz phones, is they interfere with computer equipment. So I'll have to move that in the near future sometime. Anyways, I'm gonna snap this back together here. I think this is the same. Yeah, it is. Alright. Okay, now the last two screws are going to go in here. Perfect. It's working great now. Alright, so let's dial some numbers here. Let's do some flash maybe. Flash on, there we go. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Start over again. Talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Star, 0 pound. I'd say that's working pretty good. So there you have it. That's how we restore proper functionality to double dialing cordless telephones. Now, there is another way, or another problem that you can run across with these cordless phones is when the conductive material on these button pads wears out and then they actually stop working. That is also very fixable, and I have a way that I fix it. I'll make a video of it if I do have a phone that needs it done on it, so I'll make a video of it in the future. But there's stuff out there, button repair kits or whatever, that people will try to sell you on things like eBay, and those don't actually work. Those are just a bunch of garbage. Don't buy them. They're expensive. They don't work. There's a really, really simple way to fix these buttons, which I'll reveal in another video because it's worth having another video on that. So anyways, I'm very happy with this repair. This is fantastic to have this working again. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I know it's kind of long, but hopefully it was helpful to somebody. Over and out.